Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Lawrence Michael, Operations Manager for Air Quality Remediation, making our weekly remediation video. We're just starting a new basement mold remediation project. As always, we'll start with our containment, the IICRC's S520 mold remediation standard. As always, for all of you that have watched our previous videos, is to build a containment and establish negative air pressure before we start any remediation process. So as always, same thing, we build our containment door at the basement steps, set up our caution tape and our warning signage for authorized personnel only. And you can see how the containment flap is getting sucked in because we already have that negative air pressure established. So as we go inside and walk down the basement steps, as always, we have our staple of equipment. So we have our HEPA vacuum, our rags with our antimicrobial solution, our encapsulant, which is an antimicrobial sealer that we'll be applying to some drywall surfaces. We have our negative air machine that's ducted out the window. That's what's creating our negative air pressure inside this space. The homeowner does have a dehumidifier running in here as well, which will also help prevent future mold growth from occurring. So as we walk over here, I'll show you the first part of what we have going on. We haven't started our remediation yet, so as always, we set up our containment and negative air pressure first before we start doing any remediation services. So once I get done making this video and showing you guys what's going on, I'm going to leave it to our technicians to go through everything and take care of the remediation. So it may be hard to see, but if any of you can see these circular patterns on this drywall, this is all mold growth here. It is harder to see in this area, but a circular pattern is a dead giveaway. And then if you put a flashlight right up against the surface and see things growing off, that's also a dead giveaway that there's mold growth. That's probably the best view I'm gonna get of it for you. And then it is also down here. I'm trying to get you a good view. Play with the lighting a little bit. Obviously on camera it doesn't come across as well as it would to your naked eye, but I can see it all on the drywall here. These brown circular spots here. Yeah, that's a better view there. So under the basement steps, which is pretty common, under the basement steps gets no airflow, especially if there wasn't a dehumidifier running in the space and the relative humidity went above 65%. That's really common. We see that all the time. Now this drywall isn't contaminated enough to warrant demoing the drywall underneath the basement step. So we can treat this drywall because it's not bad enough to warrant demolition. So our process for decontaminating would be, the same process that we would use for wood joists or studs or decking in an attic or basement or crawl space or anything else. We'll wire brush these drywall surfaces. We'll HEPA vacuum all the surfaces, wipe all the surfaces down with an antimicrobial solution, and then we'll seal all those drywall surfaces with an antimicrobial sealer. That'll prevent future mold growth from occurring. And then we'll go over here, where we'll look at some drywall that does need to be demoed. So we'll start over here. So this piece of drywall here, these orangish brown circular stains here, is also mold. Now this drywall will have to be removed, this square of drywall here, and then we will have to treat these wood joists and studs here. We can start to see mold growth in the very corner of these wood joists and studs here. And it's pretty common as well that when you have a French drain system like this in this basement, if there's water sitting in it, the water will evaporate and then condensate on these wood joists, and then the mold can use that as its water source. So that's really common as well. So we'll go through, we'll remove this drywall, treat these wood joists and the concrete foundation here with the same exact process. So wire brush, HEPA vacuum, sanitize and encapsulate, just like we are going to do on the drywall underneath the basement steps. And then over here is probably the easiest spot to see mold growth in this area. So down here in this corner, you can see the black mold down here. I can also see a line of water staining, and this is the same exact problem. The French drain here in this basement side, water gets in the French drain, it sits there, whether the slope to the sump pump isn't drastic enough, and the water will evaporate and then condensate. I can see the effervescence on the block wall, so I know there was water sitting here. And again, I can see a line of water staining on the drywall right across where my flashlight's going. So I know that this drywall was wet and the water did wick up the drywall, and then so it caused mold growth on the drywall itself. So this drywall will have to be cut out. So overall, not a very big project. This will only be a 2-day project. So now that we have our containment built, our negative air pressure established, I'll have the technicians go through and remove the affected drywall in the unfinished side of the basement, treat the drywall in the finished side of the basement, and then we'll have to go through the entire basement and decontaminate all the surfaces. So HEPA vacuum and sanitize all the items, all the surfaces throughout the finished side of the basement and the unfinished side. Clean the carpet, go through everything and decon everything, so that way it helps eliminate the risk of mold growth in the future. And again, with the homeowner installing a dehumidifier in this space, that'll definitely help. As long as there's no new water incursion issue, the dehumidifier will also help prevent any future mold growth from occurring. So as always, if you guys have any questions, if you need any help with any indoor air quality issues, definitely give us a call. Look us up on any of our social media pages. We're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I appreciate your time. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.